house.
Oh my goodness! Look
Tea
at
time,
this.
and we're live.
Oh, and someone's just bought tea. And
You can't see my chicken on the head. I'll bring it back, I promise. I know it's the special grow slow chicken. Thank you.
You look great.
Thanks. It really suits me, a chicken on my head, I think. I really think that.
Just whilst you're putting
Thank you,
tea,
Amy. You're the best.
Once upon a time, my daughters were at school in Spain. We lived in Spain for a few years, and my daughters were at school in Spain. And in Spain, they have this big Easter parade bonnet thing. And they do here, I know, but it was a really big thing in this school. And one little boy turned up with a bonnet on his head, with a wicker cage and a live chicken inside. Yeah,
fantastic!
It was amazing.
Oh my God, I think I'm going to win the Hat Festival with that next year.
Yeah, it was a live chicken. Yeah.
Don't tell anyone.
I won't. I won't.
Who's going to do that? But is it okay for the chicken? I mean, I
don't know. Don't forget.
I don't know if I could do that.
I
think I will use this
and
chicken.
It's a bit weird. Yeah.
Not an absolute.
I think you need to kind of just let's get a better shot of the chicken. Just duck down a little bit for a minute.
Oh no, because then my posture's like.
You don't look. You can see.
Yeah, they can see the chicken. Okay.
The chicken's trying to eat your toasted fruit bun.
Anyway, cheers.
Anyway, yeah, cheers. Is that what we're going to talk about today?
I need like just a smidgen of sugar. That's bad, isn't it? I shouldn't have it.
Well, that means you've got to go downstairs and then get some sugar and then come back.
Shall I?
No.
Should I just give up sugar right now?
You could give up sugar in your tea.
Rebecca Smith, she made me a better person, a better eater.
What you could say that Rebecca Smith, she bullied me. She bullied me into not eating sugar.
The thing is, I'm not going to enjoy this pot of tea.
Oh, go and get yourself some sugar.
Sorry.
Look,
it's all falling apart now. The chicken's off my head. I'm going to put it back because it's slightly uncomfortable.
The chicken is out of the room.
Okay,
right.
Just talk amongst yourself.
We're just going to talk amongst ourselves. So as Angie's not here, I'm going to tell you what we're going to talk about today. Because we did have a kind of, whilst we were setting this up, a very brief discussion. And today, we're not going to talk about sugar. We're not going to talk about cups of tea. We're not going to talk about chickens on heads. We're going to talk about alcohol. And we are going to talk about, what we think about alcohol. And I will have a kind of disclaimer here that I am sober, and I have been sober for 5 years, and I found it challenging to stop drinking. I've never labelled myself an alcoholic, but I definitely had issues with my relationship with red wine.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about alcohol.
I know.
I just confessed that I've been sober for 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
well done. Yeah.
Kind of starting point for me.
I feel like this is an addiction too. Sorry, making it about me.
I'm not sure. I would
it's
say
only that much.
Was an addiction. I don't
know.
Oh
my
I
God.
don't know. Maybe it is. I mean, I know some people think white sugar is an addiction. And I know, when I stopped drinking
people
alcohol,
that eat it don't.
When I stopped drinking wine, I didn't realise how much sugar was in alcohol.
Yeah.
Because I craved chocolate and biscuits and sweet things. And I've never been someone that liked sweet things particularly. But the minute I stopped drinking, I suddenly realised that actually I do like sweet things. And I kind of, the first year of stopping drinking alcohol, I probably ate a packet of biscuits every night instead of a bottle of wine. Yeah.
It's probably better. I mean, I really don't like being addicted to anything, to be honest, because I feel like it takes away your freedom. So the sugar thing, I do kick from time to time. Usually when I get sick, that's pretty sick, I guess, when I don't have my morning cuppa.
Yeah.
And, when you feel like you can't even hold anything down, that kind of feel, which is very rare. But I know that is a time that I can just switch to herbal and forget about. I always get a headache for 24 hours if I don't have the caffeine that's in tea. Gosh, this is a boring conversation. Can we? Well,
I don't think it is that boring, actually, because how many of us feel that we're controlled by things that we consume.
Yeah.
We don't want to be in that position. We want to have those choices, don't we? And
Yeah,
it's a very
you want it to
changing
be a
topic
choice.
because it's what we choose to change and what we choose to stay the same, and where we come to those points. And the reality is you could quite easily just say, okay, I'm not going to drink sugar anymore. Once you've made that decision and you've got through the first 24 hours, first 48 hours, it's just a case of remembering that you don't drink sugar. You don't get sugar anymore.
Yeah. And it's quite easy because it is a bit like smoking now, having sugar in your tea. Most people don't do it. And then if you do want to do it, you have to like hunt around someone's kitchen and go, oh, where's your sugar?
Yeah, and they go, hang on, I might have some in the cupboard. Like you used to making a cake sometimes. It's not like in the olden days where there was
used to light the fire. Yeah, and everyone had a light.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good old days.
That's interesting, actually, isn't it? And that's very much about how we create change, because we change our environment, and that helps us remember. I noticed we often have. I'm vegan, so we eat a lot of nuts, and often I have a big bowl of mixed nuts on the table, and if they're there, I'm just eating them all day without even thinking. Walking past the table, handful of nuts, I can just graze like that all day.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is silly, and so I put the nuts in a cupboard.
Yeah.
Well, straight away, my whole way of eating them has changed, because I have to think, oh, do I want a handful of nuts? And I have to go to the cupboard and get them. So it's setting up our environment to create success when we're looking for change.
Yeah. Like I was saying, I was glad that my partner doesn't really drink.
Yeah.
Well, not at home anyway. Sometimes he goes out and has a drink, but and I feel like that is probably a good thing. It does mean generally my what do you call it, is to not drink alone. So I don't really drink, and now I don't drink much because I just can't drink wine anymore at all, because I just don't sleep, and it's horrific.
I think
makes me feel sick.
Alcohol and menopause are a real no combination.
Actually, it really is, isn't it? Because basically, I think it's something. And I'm not a nutritionist, so but on a really basic level, those stimulants like caffeine and alcohol and sugar, they're stimulants, so they inflame the body, don't they?
They do.
And what you want to do in menopause, because you get hot flush, is you're kind of inflamed. Everything's hot, and so you want to have things in your body that deactivate that. Like someone was saying, seaweed was really good for balancing out that inflammation during menopause. It cools the body.
I think anything, if you think about it, anything that cools. So I mean, for instance, rather strangely, but even if we just think about having cucumber in a glass, like slice the cucumber in a glass of water, which feels quite pretty and looks quite kind of celebratory, and it's quite nice. And that whole that whole cooling impact of that is really, really good for menopause. Any of those cooling things, you're right.
So what pisses me off at the moment is that there seems to be a hell of a lot of drinking, encouraging women to drink in the advertising, promotion world, in the mainstream society. It's like when they had that bloody Barbie movie premiere, like they just had cocktails and have a girls' night out, and you just say girls' night out, and what they mean is like lots of drinking. And it's so bad. Somebody said to me, my friend said to me this week, alcohol rarely, unless you're in the best space ever, rarely helps you or makes things better. It just
doesn't.
It makes things so much worse. If you look at the incidents, and I'm off now.
That's it.
Domestic violence, sexual assault, all related to alcohol. A&E, accidents and emergencies on full moon Saturday nights, particularly bad because people drink more alcohol. it's sort of like a no-brainer. But like the smoking industry, the alcohol industry are making billions.
The lobbyists, the money that is put into lobbying to ensure that we don't politically create policies to curtail alcohol use is phenomenal.
Really.
And people think that, oh, you know, you hear these kind of things, don't you? Oh, I know when I stopped drinking, oh, you're such a killjoy, just have one drink.
Who says
like,
that?
Why?
Who would say
people
that?
Do.
That's
people
not very empathetic, sorry. They don't know about addiction, do they?
No. And there's this guy called Professor Nutt. David Nutt, N-U-T-T, and he was the drug czar for the Conservative current kind of he was this drug czar in the UK who was in charge basically of all the policies to do with drugs and alcohol. And he feels that alcohol is one of the most dangerous drugs that there is. And actually, if we deregulated some of the drugs that we consider more dangerous that are illegal, like cannabis, for instance, if we deregulated cannabis, but actually had a much tighter control on alcohol consumption, we would have a much safer society.
Yeah.
Now, he's not saying people should smoke dope. What he's saying is currently the way we have this sliding scale of what's safe and what isn't, and what's illegal and what's legal, makes no sense at all.
No, it's just, as far as I can make out, it's just driven by profit.
Yeah.
That scale. And it really pisses me off. It pisses me off the way that they make money out of women drinking gin, for instance. Gin sales, have caused a massive, resurgence in profits, and everybody's on the bandwagon and their craft gins and da-da-da-da-da. And I can remember I did a painting for this. It was like an Airbnb, beautiful house overlooking the seaside. And in the living room, because they used to rent the house out to hen parties and stuff, was just massive in neon, sort of gin bar. And I don't know. Have you ever been away with a group of friends and or your family, and you're all drinking lots of gin? It doesn't go that well. It doesn't go that well.
I mean, the reason they used to call gin Mother's Ruin was for a reason. The reason that we had all of these depictions of mothers in the gutter for, Gin Alley. What's the guy's name that did all those beautiful black and white back in the Georgian times in the 18th century? All these lithographs of
London.
Yeah,
I know. I think I know who you mean.
I can't remember the guy's name. Anyway, it was considered something that if women drank a lot of gin, which they did because their lives were completely depressed, so they kind of thought, well, I might as well just fucking, just kill myself with alcohol.
Yeah.
Their children were living in the gutter. They didn't wash. We had all these kind of depravity. Of course, it's extreme. I'm talking about the kind of 17th century when this gin alley thing was a big issue. But we don't anymore stigmatize women. We don't say, okay, if you have a drink, we're going to take your kids away. Of course we don't. No, but
just encourage it.
But we are encouraging it. We're saying, come on, just treat yourself, have a drink.
That's how you treat yourself.
Yeah.
Have a gin.
And there's such nice ways of treating yourself. Go for a walk. That's a nice way of treating yourself. And, sit and play Scrabble with your kids. That's a nice way of treating. I mean, for me, I feel, and I have apologised to my children, because when my children were growing up, they saw me drinking too much. And there were times when they saw me drunk. And I can't ever make up for that. I can't take that away. I can't take away what they saw and the way that alcohol affected me and therefore affected their lives. So all I can do now is apologise for it. Now, my drinking, in terms of society, was considered quite normal.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have seen the way, you wouldn't have looked at me and thought, this person's an alcoholic, this person's a problem drinker.
Yeah.
The children would be playing, I'd be preparing tea.
Yeah.
I'd open a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Have a glass whilst I was making dinner. My husband would come in. we'd finish the bottle with dinner. It wasn't like, you know, I didn't drink a bottle of wine in the mornings before I took the kids to school or anything like that. But it was a problem because it changed my personality.
Yeah.
And it changed the fact that I wasn't being responsible for things that I should have taken responsibility for.
Yeah, but yeah,
so,
I mean, you just lose touch with yourself completely. You forget, you know, who you want to be, who you are. It's just like a complete smokescreen on yourself, really.
I think it's numbing, isn't it? It's that great.
It's numbing.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be nice to numb, and sometimes I numb out on a you know, Netflix or something. But and you know, I still do drink on occasion. And when I went to Greece with my mum and my sisters, I'd have a drink. And but I didn't have, there was no prolonged drinking, there was no, I mean, nothing like what I used to drink, basically. Let's keep that clear. But you know, I like having a cocktail.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not someone that says
have
people
to
shouldn't
stop at
drink,
one.
but,
I don't know. It's just, anyway, yeah, I don't care what other people do. What's just pissing me off is who's making a lot of money out of people making maybe not the best choices.
Yeah.
But also I think alcohol is a great, like you said, numbing. If you've got some trauma that's happened or happening, and sometimes I think we're constantly being traumatized every fucking day with the media. I mean, honestly, if I listen to the news, you know, there might be something about, you know, kids being hurt, whatever, war, whatever is going on, and they put on the news. I mean, I think they should have an 18+ warning. It's just, it's disgusting. And there's always something new. If I listen to the radio for a period of time in a day, there's always a new way of hurting other people, of women being abused that I haven't thought of. I thought, oh gosh, that's really awful. And I think, you know, I feel like I'm not, maybe I am more sensitive than most. I don't know. I don't really understand how people can listen to the news every day and not be affected by it. I just don't. But yeah, if I did, sometimes I feel traumatized. And it's so easy to think, oh my God, I'm gonna need a drink.
Yeah, because it's a very convenient and relatively cheap way of zoning out. And
yeah, I don't have
and
to
sometimes
think about
we're
it
being there's so much information coming in. Like you say, we need to find some way of creating a barrier between us and the rest of the world, and alcohol does that, absolutely. And for me, when I first stopped drinking, one of the things I really noticed was how fucking sensitive I felt all the time.
Yeah.
I felt like someone had ripped my skin off.
Yeah.
And it was just like suddenly everything is just too much.
Yeah.
Because you're so used to, for me, I was so used to having a drink to stop that.
Yeah.
So I can really see how that. How it.
Yeah. And the other thing I think is, like I've noticed, is that really creative people can sometimes drink too much, because there is that, and maybe, I don't know if it's called ADHD. I think about it as having, like you said, too many tabs open on the computer at once. It's all coming in, sort of like a lantern. You just open like that, and it's all coming in, and it's a lot. So, I mean, I have to watch myself in that whole thing, because I can very easily become overstimulated, and then I don't have panic attacks anymore because I've got all these ways of bringing myself down, and I, you know, don't do those things that like completely could send me on a whirl, and I do meditation or whatever if I feel like I'm going up there. And I can't even remember what my point was now, Rebecca.
This overstimulation.
I got overstimulated with what I was going to say.
Yeah. It's very easy to do, though, isn't it?
Oh, that's all. Sorry.
No, go.
I remembered what it was
go.
now. I think it makes me really vulnerable to having too much alcohol, to being an alcoholic, because it's a really good way of managing that. Too many feelings, too much coming in, you know, and there is too much coming in, like you said.
So there's been some really interesting new research done into adult ADHD and alcoholism, and there are very, very, very strong links.
Yeah.
Now it's interesting you talked about
Okay,
ADHD because obviously there's been a lot of recent adult diagnosis. And,
Yeah.
and what do we do now?
Yeah.
And,
Shall
and,
I
you
get
know,
a diagnosis?
and a lot of people.
I don't need one, I know.
And I kind of think, does it help to have that label? If it does, then that's great. If you're going to feel better by someone saying to you, "Oh, look,"
but there are drugs you can get.
There are drugs, and there are things.
They
that you
sound
can do.
good. I know people that use them. And they go, "Oh, if I need to get lots of work done, I just take a few of the ADHD pills and off I go for a few hours." I don't know, but all drugs have side effects. Just want to say that
they do, don't they? I
don't know. I don't really want to judge that.
But going back into the link, there is a strong link between people that abuse alcohol and people that have ADHD. And it does certainly, if you're the kind of person that lives your whole life with lots of different channels always open, skitter fritter all over the place and struggling to focus, which is very much me, then alcohol kind of just slows everything down a little bit.
Can I just reframe that for a second? Can. Like that whole, I'm so distracted. Every report card, Angela is easily distracted. Oh my God, there's a bird. Oh dear, what's your dog's name? But that is me. And if I'm in the environment that I need to be in, which is a fucking art studio around other artists, around other people that value creativity and, you know, different voices and blah, 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 then like that is a superpower. That's like totally fine. Just be yourself. That's cool. Well, because but you go into an office. It's tricky. And they do drink a lot in the offices in London. That's felt like. They do. Oh my God. When I got to London and I was, and then I went to advertising industry, and that was even in television, and that was even on another level. Yeah. Like journalism. God, you know, if you lunchtime at the pub. Drink, it was unbelievable. But and also a freaking pint glass. That is like a massive amount of beer. So a big beer in Australia is called a pot, and it's like that big. So when I got to London, it's like we drink out of glasses this big. And people just go, yeah, a pint, going for a pint. I'm like, that's nearly a fucking litre. So I've said to God, I'm sounding to really guy friends. I've never been someone that drunk beer. I've said to guy friends, you know, you go out at night and sometimes they'll have 7 or 8 pints. And I'll say to them, if I gave you 7 or 8 pints of water, you'd think I was bonkers. You'd say, oh, don't be ridiculous, Rebecca. I can't drink 7 pints of water in a couple of hours. But you can drink 7 pints of beer. What's going, you know? All that liquid. It's like a bonding thing as well. Like, and the irony about alcohol is it leaves you feeling alone. It leaves you feeling like, who the fuck am I? Whereas it's kind of like the, it has the opposite effect of what they want you to believe. You know, the whole chinking of the champagne glass, and we're all bonded by this one experience. But in fact, you will just go into like ego, fear mode, I'm alone, da 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 da. It's not like a bonding thing. And I do like to, if I do go to a party and I'm not drinking, and you probably get this, I like to have something that looks like a drink. Absolutely. Because it is hardwired into us, I suspect, by the alcohol industry and movies and stuff. What's wrong with you? You're not drinking, you're pregnant, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I mean, nobody says you're pregnant anymore. No, they don't at my age anymore. No one else. So whatever. But, you know, so what I do is I'll get water, and then I'll put a little bit of apple cider vinegar in it. Looks like wine. No, you're absolutely right. It's nice to have something that just feels like you're not completely out. So I don't have to like be justifying. Yeah. I can do what I want. Personally, my drink of choice of an evening is a pot of chamomile tea. Yeah. Now, I can easily drink 2 big pots of chamomile. I know, I am, aren't I? I know, it's a party. So, you know, if I have people over to my house, I'm serving them wine, and they can have cocktails, they can whatever they like. There's alcohol in my house because my husband drinks, and, you know, friends drink when they come over. But I will sit at the table
after a meal and everyone's drinking their wine, and I'll have my nice big pot of chamomile tea, and I'm very, very happy. But if you go to a pub and you say someone's buying around and you say, "Can you just see if they've got any tea?" They're not really. Yeah, people don't quite get that. But anyway,
I don't think pubs will ever sell herbal teas. It's not really in their interest to.
It's not. They don't. I don't think
happy herbal tea.
I don't think they make very much money.
They'd just be taking up space.
No.
Yeah, but it's tricky because I do feel like sometimes the pub and I am close to the best community pub in Newport.
Absolutely.
It's 11 o'clock.
That's right. Are we going okay for time?
I'll
go
past.
I mean, we don't. Yeah. Anyway, it's great, and sometimes I just get this overwhelming sense of community there because it is fantastic. And every Christmas Day, there's an hour or two. It's like everybody's there, and it's so wonderful to just see all those many people at once. But actually, the thing is that it's the very beginning. So Saturdays, between 5 and 7, everybody's still just happy. But I did go in there once. It was a Friday or Saturday night about when everyone was beyond happy, and I found that. You really have to be there from the beginning to then get to that stage. If you come in stone sober, or I can't remember where I've been, but I think maybe I'd had a couple of drinks with dinner, but it was just like, oh my God, everybody is off their face.
What's very interesting as someone who no longer drinks at all is being in a room full of people at that level.
Yeah.
And none of them are listening to each other. They're all in their own little bubble, talking away, and no one is listening. So you're absolutely right that alcohol creates this separation from people because we think we're having a conversation, but no one's listening.
So that's so true. And loneliness is such a problem now, isn't it?
Oh gosh, terribly. And so as it's really, really physiologically damaging for us.
Like smoking a packet of cigarettes a day or something if you're lonely. It's just so it's such a lie. It's such a lie. But then maybe I was thinking, like, if I was single, like I'd have to go to the pub because otherwise I wouldn't see people. I mean, the other alternative is I just go and knock on people's doors and say hi. Although the cafe is good, Soulshine's good, here's good.
Yeah, and actually, one thing I've noticed, so I've got my daughters one's coming up to 30 and the other one's 32. And actually in their friendship group, they do drink, but they tend to meet up a lot more for, like, they'll meet up and go for a green juice, which they pay extortionate prices for in London. But, they don't necessarily meet up for drinks. They'll meet up after yoga.
Yeah, but that's going to be like after yoga session. Sure,
yeah, but also in the evening, there are quite a lot.
You're not going to meet up for a green juice at 11 p.m. on Friday night, are you?
There are quite a lot. So interestingly enough, one of the things in London that drives this is multiculturalism.
Yes,
because obviously people that are Muslim and Hindu don't drink.
You can get a juice on Edgware Road at midnight.
So there are some really cool, fabulous looking bars that just set, of an evening.
No, that's true.
You see groups of young people sitting around drinking
the hookah bars.
Drinks. Well, even just without the hookah stuff, but they'll sit around drinking peppermint tea and things.
Yeah.
And there's this beautiful chain in London, and the bars look fabulous. They're all covered in flowers and beautiful flower drawings. And actually there's rooms at the back where groups of women can go and drink tea, because obviously there's certain, there's gender separation in that kind of culture. I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Not always.
And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but
places in that culture where there isn't gender separation, I'll just say that.
But there are these spaces now where, as groups of women, young women, you can go out, but you have to go out to drink. You can and they've got,
but you have to sit in the back room.
Well,
I don't know.
You don't have to sit there, but if you choose to, if that's your kind of way of living, you can go out with a group of friends and you can have this separate space. I must say they are the best toilets in London. because the bathrooms are just full to the brim of products, the most amazing perfumes.
What's it called?
I'm trying to remember what it's called, and I can't remember.
I've got a feeling I know what you're talking about. Have they got all flowers like out the very front?
Yeah. And they started in Kensington,
plastic
and
flowers.
then
I think I know. I think I know what you mean.
But I just think, you know, there are spaces now where you can go collectively, and they feel celebratory, and there's no alcohol.
Yeah,
and you can have
great. Okay, but there's nothing
it's
like
not
that
something
here.
I think outside of cities.
Endorse it.
No, I don't think
you make one endorse it. Nobody will come.
That's I'm afraid if we started a non-alcoholic,
no one's going to come.
Pub in
it's called a cafe
in Bridport, we would be.
It's called a cafe.
Yeah, although there are.
You never know though.
There's a couple of really great non-alcoholic brands being produced in Bridport, one of which I'm going to have a shout out for because it's fabulous.
Okay.
So in Cern Abbas Brewery.
Yeah, I know them.
Yeah, so they make great beers apparently. I've never drunk their ordinary beers.
You know.
But they do a non-alcoholic beer, and it's got CBD in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I've seen that.
I know it's CBD is one of those things. It's, you know, tiny little amounts, and sometimes it's a big thing at the moment, isn't it? It doesn't really have any effect. However, these beers that this guy produces in Cern Abbas, I don't know what sort of CBD is in it.
You're liking it. You're liking it.
Mellow. After drinking it, I felt really, really good, and I was so relaxed. And it's so rare that something that isn't alcohol actually makes you feel nice.
Oh.
And this,
do you think so? What about your chamomile tea?
Yeah, that does. I mean, something that's marketed as an alternative to.
I know. Well, that's you know, I'm sorry, I'm being a bit cynical, but it's also a bit of a no-brainer to do that, to add that to your range.
But it's really, really nice.
To your product range.
It's really nice, and
so that's good.
I would say if someone was looking for a non-alcoholic beer, then the Cern Abbas one.
This isn't really about alcohol, though, is it?
No,
it's just alcohol. It could be anything.
It could be anything. It's anything we use to change our mental state and our feelings, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
For some people,
to escape your feelings. I know that's so true. And some people, it's yoga. Oh, I've got to put my earrings on. Oh, I feel naked suddenly.
I don't think I've got any in either. Naked look, we've both gone earringless.
Oh my God, what's going on? Yeah. So I keep forgetting what I was saying.
So are we saying that we think it's really good just to be real, and that you should never use anything to escape from that reality? I don't think we're saying that, are we?
I don't think we're saying that. I mean, the thing is with feelings, if you don't feel it, you can't heal it. Mm-hmm. So you've just got to feel it. And I feel like I want to, with intention, embody a person who feels shit. And, you know, I feel like you don't see that enough. You don't see people going, you know, this is making me cry, or this has come up for me at the moment with that. You know, people think it's some kind of joke to be triggered and stuff. And actually, it's kind of like if you can do it in a healthy way and stay with it, then it no longer controls you anymore. You're like, I'm feeling this. Somebody said you have to name it. Was it you? I don't know. Name what you're feeling, you know, and think about why you're feeling that, and then you move on. You move on. But if you just in this, I'm feeling like, I don't know why, I don't know, and I'll just have a whatever, watch TV or look at my phone because it's uncomfortable, then you won't ever get over it. And also, it just will become louder and louder and louder and louder and louder until you do freaking deal with it.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately,
that is true. And some people spend their whole life pushing it down and not dealing with it.
Yeah.
And the sooner you deal with it, the sooner you can
get
it out there and work out what it means for you and how to deal with it. One of the things people are always looking for, I think, and this was something that when I was working as a counsellor, I noticed a lot. People want someone else to have an answer. They want a really simple solution. They want so what can I do? I've got this problem. What can I do? it doesn't work like that, does it? Because we have to work it out for ourselves.
We do, but it can be helpful. And I know it was really helpful to me massively when I had a counsellor who had a really strong opinion. And she said to me, I was at art school because I didn't know, I was really wanting to have a baby, but I thought, I have to do something else I really want to do. And so I went to art school, and that was great. But I was going to the counsellor because I was massively just like, I want to have a baby, like every day, and then getting pissed and ending up in tears every night about it. And she said to me, you know what you need to do? You need to stop thinking about having a baby. Don't have a baby. And the money that you've got, because I'd saved some money, she said, just go and spend it on seeing a Jungian therapist. Spend the money on therapy and sort yourself out. And I just thought, who the F are you to tell me what to do? I'm going to have a baby. Fuck you. And it made me really clear about what I wanted. And
I wonder if that was their intention.
Hang on, it sounds like I already knew what I wanted. Maybe it could have been her intention, but it made me go like, and I did think about it. I think, oh yeah, okay, I could go to therapy. And then I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. And then that was the start of exploring like, I just really do need to do this. And spending money. Okay, that money is going for IVF. So that was good. And I don't know if I would have got there as quickly if I didn't have these other options and other opinions coming at me in that environment. I found that quite helpful.
Yeah, I mean, from the kind of the kind of counselling practice I come from is very much about, as a counsellor, not having an opinion. I mean, that horrifies me that a counsellor would say things like that.
It's pretty bad. I felt like it was completely out of order.
Yeah, but, my way of being a therapist and my teaching and education would be absolutely not that.
When it comes to that,
ever have an opinion. I don't have an opinion. I'm asking questions so other people can work out what they think and feel. I'm certainly never putting myself out there offering what I think they should do. But yeah, unfortunately, most, we have to do the work ourselves. We have to do the work ourselves. We have to ask ourselves the question. We have to be curious about ourselves. We have to just, be ever present with our own selves, because this is who we are.
I know. But it does get easier, I reckon.
Yeah.
Good news.
God,
it gets easier. Bloody hell.
Gets easier.
Yeah.
And it's actually really good fun being your own friend and asking yourself those questions.
Never lonely.
It's really good fun.
Yeah, it is good. And I do feel like if you can actually be with your feelings and not the feelings here, but also the feelings out there, like in nature, how connected we all are, how connected we are when you share it with someone else and they go, fuck yeah, that I know how you feel. And that's like, oh my God, I'm not alone. You will never be alone again. You won't feel that sense of like just desperate isolation that you can feel when you bottle things up and forget who you are. It's like you can be your own best friend. I know it sounds like such a cliche.
It does. It sounds so cheesy.
I do it all the time. I go, I'm going to take myself out for breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm going to take myself out for a romantic walk on the beach and watch the sunset. You don't need another person to like do it for yourself.
You don't need another person to make you whole.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, isn't it? And
you don't need another person. You don't need a substance.
No.
You don't need externalities. You need to actually do the work.
But is it work?
Well,
I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I always do things that challenge me in that way. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm using the word.
It's outside your comfort zone.
I definitely you have to stretch yourself.
But it's just like stretching like that. It feels good.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah. Shall we end there?
I think we should.
Really,
yeah.
I hope people enjoyed this.
Stretch yourself.
Yeah.
Do something. Yeah. Do something different or do the same thing differently.
Oh, okay.
Because they're two very separate
things.
That's going to be my final word.
Okay, what about some piece of clothing item, we'll finish with that you would buy today?
Okay, so I've had my eye on this.
Oh,
because I am
oh my God,
feeling
I used to love a waistcoat in the 80s. It was my favourite thing.
Look. I'm feeling waistcoats.
This is good.
So
there's a lot of blue going on. I think it would look good with his hat, wouldn't
it? Doesn't it look good with his dress?
Yeah. No. Well, I'm saying that because I had a waistcoat like that and I used to wear a hat not dissimilar to this in the 80s, and I loved it.
Yeah. So this is my piece.
Yeah, that looks really good. Oh, okay. So today, I think that's my hair flower there actually. I would like to this dress. Where is it? Did someone buy it? Oh my God.
That's your favourite piece on.
You know how we said that thing when you go into a shop and then you go, oh, it's not for sale. Yeah. It's quite often not for sale. And then I had this theory about because somebody really loved it. They really love it. And so they put the love in the object. And so I was loving on this dress this week.
And it's gone.
And it's gone because I was loving on it. And actually I showed a whole room full of women. This is what I want. Did one of those bitches buy it? No, they didn't. Here it is. I'm just making up a story in my head.
Stories in our head.
It's so ridiculous. Yeah, that was just a whole lot of bullshit, wasn't it?
The stories in your head because you were having a worried moment there, weren't you?
See, I really thought I could make this dress into a skirt because I loved these autumnal colours.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And I had a few bits of yellow things that it would look good with.
You had that lovely yellow cardigan.
But then I saw that it's got this zip at the back, Rebecca, so I thought that's going to be tricky to just chop it and put some elastic. I mean, I know, so I just thought, oh, it's too hard. But I love this fabric. Isn't that gorgeous? It's like peaches and nuts and just autumnal.
I can't work out what these are. They're very pretty.
I think that's a quince or something like that.
Yeah.
Which actually I'm obsessed with quinces and yellow at the moment.
I think it's obviously a more graphic version, but it's the kind of tones and fruits you've been painting at the moment, isn't it?
So is.
So that's what it is. Yeah.
It so is. And I just feel like I'm going to feel like I'm wearing exactly what I want to wear if I bought that and made it a skirt. But I don't think I will because I feel like, I've got the clothing swap tomorrow.
Oh, is that?
And I've given in 6 pieces. So we've got a clothing swap tomorrow in Bridport at the beach in Barnegat. So you can drop off some pieces of clothing up to 10 and then you could swap that. So I've put in 6 pieces. I took them on Saturday. And then so I can get 6 pieces of clothing. I mean,
and on
maybe nothing will fit me, so it'll be 6 scarves. And I don't even need 6. I might not even get anything if I don't see anything I like.
And then on Thursday in Bridport, we've got the great big pre-love sale and I've got
at the United Church
there at the United Church, and I've got 2 rails. I've got a £20 rail and a £10 rail.
Oh, I like that.
So that's all. That's
good.
And I've got outfits made up. And so for 50 quid, you can buy a whole total new look.
Really?
Whole look from head to toe.
Yeah, but you're not going to have anything to fit me.
The problem with
a hat.
With vintage,
I don't really care.
The problem with vintage is it's small sizes. There's a number of reasons for that. And that's not necessarily the people who are smaller than. What happens is the bigger sizes over the years get taken in. So they might have been a kind of normal size.
That makes no sense.
No, I know. But so where things get handed down and they get adjusted, they kind of get.
Okay, well, I think you're talking about pieces that.
Vintage, I'm talking about.
Yeah. High-end pieces that, we're not just talking about the old.
It's really difficult.
The waistcoat.
Pre-loved clothes.
Yeah,
I have no idea why pre-loved clothes always only seem to go
Yeah,
up to
yeah.
a size 12.
Yeah.
Beyond that, and
It's all
even
right.
that's hard to find.
I'm gonna have a seamstress soon, or someone who can adjust things for me, like make that into a skirt, please. But anyway, whatever. It's just clothes, but it's a
But
bit
it
of
is
fun.
just clothes. But
It's fun.
you know,
It's fun, and we like it, and it's really great that, you know, we're doing sustainable fashion, and we're not buying a whole lot of new shit that has environmental impact. So yeah,
that's it. Then I think
that's it. We've plugged Wednesday and Thursday.
Plug Wednesday, plug Thursday
at the Uniting Church opposite Chapel in the Garden, so
And-
people know where it is. That's where it is, isn't it?
It is. And have you got any art stuff coming up that we need to plug?
Oh, my exhibition.
Yeah.
Oh, are we going to plug that?
Okay. We may as well. We're doing a bit of plugging. Let's.
Athelhampton House. Okay. I've got an exhibition of 48 paintings at Athelhampton House on the other side of Dorchester. Here we are. That's my exhibition poster. And you can go there. It's a beautiful place. It's like gorgeous day out, house and gardens. Just amazing gardens, beautiful house, beautiful old Elizabethan, mansion house.
And when is that on until?
That's until the 4th of November.
Okay, so people have got another month, really. Another 4 weeks
to go and
get
see that. But
Great.
yeah, that's it. Okay, so I think that's it for today.
Good.
Yeah, great.
Bye.
I still have trouble. Bye. Are we saying bye now? Okay. No,
we just said that's it, and we'll keep going.
No, we're going to stop. We're going to end. Bye, darlings.
You know what we didn't do? We
What
didn't do our